This will be a PowerPoint presentation for the Illinois Group 2 Safety Training for March of 2024. In this briefing, we will cover why motorists risk driving on flooded roads. Respecting the power of water is at the center of research examining factors that influence the driver's decision to cross a flooded road. Surveys of why drivers crossed flooded roads appeared to be reasonable. They were running late, their family was on the other side of the flooded road, conditions were getting worse, the water didn't look that deep. The top reason was that a previous car had crossed without problems. People tend to rely more on what they can actually see to determine if there is indeed a dangerous situation. If another vehicle crossed the water without incident, respondents said that they gauged the height of that vehicle and the ripples created by the vehicle's tires to decide whether to follow in its wake. Seeing others do something often leaves people with the impression this behavior is typical and relatively safe, an effect known as normalcy bias. In many cases studied, passengers also put pressure on drivers to cross. Another key reason involves prior experience and perceived probability of adverse outcomes. While 9% reported a negative outcome, such as damage to their car or having to be rescued, 91% reported proceeding without any incident. A mere 6 inches of fast-moving floodwater can knock over an adult. It takes just 12 inches of rushing water to carry away most cars, and just 2 feet of rushing water can carry away SUVs and trucks. It is never safe to drive or walk into floodwaters. What happens to your car when you drive through high water? Driving through high water can have a disastrous effect on your car's engine and interior. Even 6 inches of water can reach the bottom of most passenger vehicles, and if that happens, it can set off a chain reaction of devastating damage to your engine. Not to mention, road visibility disappears when there is flooding, which can lead vehicles off the road. What happens if water enters the engine? It depends on how much water you drove through and where your air intake is located. If your car air intake sits low in the vehicle, you're likely in trouble because it could have sucked in water, which means it could have entered the engine. If water enters the engine, it can lead to bad things such as compression issues because there's no place for water to go. Piston rods will begin to bend and eventually break. When a piston rod breaks, it'll likely take a chunk of an engine on the way out. And water damage can fry the entire car's electrical system as well. And then there is drowning. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that more than half of all flood-related drownings occur when someone drives into floodwater. Yet drivers frequently underestimate the force of shallow water, with serious consequences. Each year, more deaths occur due to flooding than from any other thunderstorm-related hazard. Over half of all flood-related drownings occur when a vehicle is driven into hazardous floodwater. The next highest percentage of flood-related deaths is due to walking into or near floodwaters. People underestimate the force and power of water. Many of the deaths occur in cars swept downstream. Many of these drownings are preventable. Never drive around the barriers blocking a flooded road. The road may have collapsed under that water. So how can the principle of everyday risk management be applied to the topic we just covered? It is by breaking the accident chain, by eliminating one of the important connecting links of an accident chain that could ultimately lead to an accident or tragedy. If something about the situation you are in does not look right or feel right, take a mental knock it off moment. Are you in a low occurrence, high risk situation or a high occurrence, low risk situation? One of your choices is to, one, turn around with the high probability of being late to work or late to pick up your kids. The other choice is not to turn around with the lower probability of damaging your vehicle, being very late to work or picking up your kids, or never getting to work or picking your kids up again. The choice is yours. And that concludes this month's safety briefing. Thank you for your attention.